In the case of Haiti, we had an earthquake where a lot of houses were destroyed. How do we house people again in a temporary fashion?
Whenever there is a disaster, shelter is one of the key components in the humanitarian assistance and considered as the most fundamental tool to save the lives of disaster affectees. If we talk about the Haitian context, it was a large-scale disaster and the infrastructure was destroyed, and most efficient solution was to provide the e-shelter. E-shelter is light, easy to transport, easy to store, easy to erect. If the climatic condition is not windy, much rainy, it can last between 3 months to 6 months.
So the transitional shelter, which would be the next phase, is usually a shelter that provides a bit better shelter with the bad weather and has better living conditions and usually lasts longer. And that's made of more sturdy materials, so it's basically either a timber frame, can be a metal frame, it can be a bamboo frame. Each agency has a bit of a different design, but it's usually made out of timber, I would say.
Transition shelter fills the gap between the emergency and reconstruction. So it includes water, sanitation, provides more dignity, protection, be it a child, be it a woman.
If you're tellement grand pile livre, ok? Les gens qui recevoir shelter, dans premier vague shelter yo, et ça fait plaisir que et dans le moment nous avons vraiment besoin d'un côté pour nous aider.
We usually follow the sphere standards, which are guidelines that have been produced over the time to basically guide us along in the type of shelter that should be built, ideally, what type of material, how far one shelter should be from a water point, or how far a shelter should be from a latrine. And in the context of Haiti, for example, usually the shelter cluster is the one that basically makes sure that everyone follows the sphere standards.
In Haiti, the solutions that have been made available to families in order to help them to move from the camp back into their communities, some of those solutions have been transitional shelters, wooden homes, others where we've helped repair houses that were damaged. And a third solution, as it turns out, is rental solution. For those families who don't have land and don't have a house to be repaired, what they need to do is re-enter the rental market. These are, in the vast majority, families who were renting homes before the earthquake, and what they need is a little helping hand to be able to get back into that rental market for the first year.
Là nous finissons Kaila puis nous à côté yo après ça yo vini visiter Kaila yo garder Kaila si yo aimer Kaila si Kaila pas si fissure après ça là finir garder Kaila yo ka si Kaila bon yo prend.
What we've done is we've given them an assistance of up to $500 US, and they can find any property they like in any area of the city and move back in according to their needs.
To help people get out of the camps after a crisis or after an emergency, I think one of the solutions we may use is the host family. We are very close to our family here in Haiti. This can be used to help people to find a way to leave the camps.
For repair of the houses, you usually repair the existing house if it's in a safe zone. So there has to be a risk mapping that has to be done prior to all this. The risk mapping will tell you if your house is in a dangerous ravine, if it's on a dangerous slope, if there's flooding issues, if you're on a seismic fault line that's dangerous. And then based on that, you can define which zone to repair. And when you do the repair, you're trying to reinforce the building to make it as solid as possible. And then the next phase would be a permanent house. So the next approach is more providing a house that's basically something that lasts for a much longer period.
That can be a multi-family building, a single-family building. We studied a modular house of 17.5 square meters that can fit almost all the plots that are in this neighborhood. We can study expansions. We are working with the community to let to the beneficiary the task to expand it in a second phase.
With every intervention, be it humanitarian recovery or development intervention, namely a camp, a T-shelter, and a permanent housing, you need increased levels of tenure security. Most permanent housing reconstruction actors, because of the high cost of permanent housing, because they don't want to create another temporary solution, really required much greater land tenure verification than the T-shelter actors and the camp management actors preceding them.
What we learned here in Haiti, especially at the beginning when we dealt with a caseload of 1.5 million people, is that there's no solution that fits all. And the international community needs to remain alert and aware of the different types of solutions that can be given. It's critical to break down the caseload of people living in camps to provide to those in need the specific response that they require.
Machan douce cocoyer, machan bougie, mange les seins, on yo funk yo manger. Touriste local, nou kalan bal, c'est presque une ambiance carnaval. Chauffeur camion, ak major Jean, tout le monde a fait l'argent.